The truth will out. VDL's cunning plan come into light as migrant crisis slammed EU like a truck. European Union leaders have been slammed for seeking to give Britain a bloody nose over the migrant crisis. Philanthropist John Cordwell has told Talk Radio host Jeremy Kyle that the migrant crisis is being used as a political football. He blasted the European Union and argued that Brussels want Britain to have a bloody nose. Mr. Cordwell stressed that the EU want to cause problems for Britain because if we prosper too much the EU becomes in further potential to collapse. Mr. Cordwell told Talk Radio, the EU, in general, want Britain to have a bloody nose. Because if we prosper too much the EU becomes in further potential to collapse. They don't want us to prosper because it'll set the wrong signal to other countries that might be slightly EU skeptic. So it is a political football. He added, but I think there is a great point which is we do need to think on a humanitarian scale, on a global scale and together. It comes after senior Tory MP Andrea Leadsom and Dr. Shola Moshogbamimu clashed angrily over migrants crossing the English Channel illegally in small boats. Dr. Shola joined the senior Conservative Party MP to discuss the ongoing migrant crossings with Ian Dale on LBC's Cross Question programme. Ms. Leadsom fought back angrily at claims the government was gaslighting the British public over the plight of migrants. Dr. Shola told the senior Tory MP, "Let me tell you that you're gaslighting the listeners by suggesting that this government is trying to deal with the problem of traffickers by actually demonising the people who have been oppressed by traffickers." Ms. Leadsom fired back, "Shola, I won't have you accuse me of lying, which is what you are accusing me of." "It is a lie," blasted Dr. Shola. Ms. Leadsom snapped, "No. I am not lying." The Tory MP added, "What this government is trying to do is to prevent illegal movement to this country." Dr. Shola argued, "The government is not doing that. The government is dehumanizing refugees, demonizing the language they use." She added, "Each time we talk about migrant crossing, it's always to paint them looking like people who actually you should have gone to a different country before you came to us." In other news, the EU says people's arrivals in Belarus are under control amid priority plans to now return stranded asylum seekers and migrants to their home countries. There is still some work to be done, Josep Borrell, the EU's foreign policy chief, told reporters on Tuesday, the 23rd of November. But for the time being we think that we can consider the flow under control, the inflow under control, he said. The Commission estimates up to 15,000 people are currently stuck in Belarus, of which around 2,000 are close to the border with Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia. The comments were echoed by European Commission Vice President Margaritis Schinas, who recently travelled to Lebanon, Iraq, the United Arab Emirates, and Turkey. Flights from Baghdad and routed through Dubai, Beirut, Istanbul, Damascus, and Tashkent have all been halted, he said. Attention now will shift to returns. In order to alleviate the situation in the border, we are working to step up returns, he also said. Asked whether there were any plans to help bring the most vulnerable into the EU, Schinas said it was outside the bounds of EU competence. These people either would return, as many of them do, through voluntary returns, or will apply for asylum, he said, without noting that Poland is pushing prospective asylum seekers back into Belarus, making it impossible for them to apply for asylum. Meanwhile, some 450 people returned to Baghdad from Minsk last week. The Commission is now mobilizing around €1 million to finance returns, readmission, and reintegration from Belarus. Overall, this will take our support for return to €3.5 million voluntary returns from Belarus, he said. This comes on top of an additional €200 million of border management support for Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia, also announced on Tuesday. None of it can be spent on walls or barbed wire fences. The report comes as the European Commission proposes a new regulation, giving it the power to decide on whether to sanction transport companies suspected of smuggling or trafficking people. EU foreign affairs ministers had earlier this month agreed to slap a new round of sanctions against the Minsk regime. But EU Commissioner for Transport, Adina Vălean, said the draft bill is needed to allow the EU to act at European level. It gives us a powerful tool to take action where operators have failed to act or seek to benefit from the exploitation of vulnerable people, she said. Those operators found to be in breach of the rules may have their right to operate in the EU suspended or limited, she added. The bills still need to be agreed by the European Parliament and the Council, representing member states and the Council.